Hey, Brian from SnakeBytes here. I'm in Tinley Park at what some say is the biggest reptile show in America. Let's go inside and see some really cool animals. You're watching SnakeBytes. So the first animal that really caught my eye at the show happens to be a ball python. And trust me, there's a lot of ball pythons in here, but take a look at this monster. This happens to be a VPI snow ball python. It's a beautiful white snake, but what's so impressive is look at how big it is. This has to be one of the biggest mutation ball pythons I've ever seen. It certainly is an absolute beauty. What was the most number of shows BHP has ever done in one calendar year? A, 18, B, 30, C, 42. Go ahead and answer down below in the comments and check back later in the show to see if you've got the right answer. In this week's Reptile Report Spotlight, we're going to be highlighting tortoise forums. Go ahead and check out the URL down below or click on the link in the description. One of the things I love about reptile shows is when you come across animals you didn't even know existed. That's what this animal is here. This is a T-positive albino Colombian rainbow boa. It's from Brian Sharp. Now, he produced one batch before in the past, but I had never heard about him. So when I walked by his table and saw these little gems, I was like, what the heck is that? Check that out. Now, again, it's a recessive mutation, and believe it or not, he bought the original albino out of Colombia about 20 years ago. So it was a really long-term project, but I'm telling you what, it was well worth the wait. You guys know that I'm a huge colubrid fan, so when I walk around a show and see a colubrid I've never seen before, I get super excited, and I happen to have two to show you right now, starting with this guy right here. This is a Sustes sulphureus, which is a South American colubrid. Now, as you can see, not only are they an extremely arboreal snake, liking to raid the nest of birds, but what I find really interesting about these guys is their tongue movement. They stick their tongue out and just barely move it, unlike most snakes. Now, believe it or not, these guys can get up to 12 foot long. Now, that's one impressive colubrid snake. All right, so what we have here is another Sustes, but a Pasillinotus. These guys are more from Central America into the very north part of South America. Now, they only get about 6 to 7 foot as opposed to the big 12-footers, but they're extremely polymorphic, and depending on where you get them from, they're gonna look radically different. These animals are typically from the Costa Rica area that look like this, but wow, what an incredible snake, and probably is the coolest snake in the show, to me at least. So you guys know I recently produced a scaleless ball python, and it came from an animal that had reduced scaling on the head. Now, what's interesting is my buddy Matt Baronic over at Saddleback Reptiles might have a very similar project in a leopard gecko. Now, the little bumps on their back are called tubercles. This animal actually is missing all of the tubercles on his back, so it's completely smooth. Now, it would be interesting when he breeds these two reduced tubercle animals together if he gets an all scaleless leopard gecko. Time will tell. These are some incredible geckos here. Now, a lot of people have seen the African fat tails. This happens to be the other species, which is Hemitheconyx taylori. These guys are much more shy animals and are very rare in captive collections. Now, they're typically from the Somalia area, and as you can see, they're just really mellow animals. They typically live in termite mounds, so they're a little bit more difficult to keep in captivity and to breed. But I think my buddy from Saddleback's gonna figure this one out. I have a feeling we're gonna see some babies in the next couple years. You guys know I'm always going to show off really cool monitor lizards. Well, this happens to be a Mertens monitor, and they're a little bit different than a lot of the other monitors that I've worked with in the past, seeing that they're mainly an aquatic animal, much like a water monitor. But these are a much smaller species, getting only about 4 foot. Now, in captivity and in the wild, the majority of their nutrition comes from fish, believe it or not. I'm told that about 90% of their diet is fish and 10% rodents. But as you can see, they are just super cool animals, and I can attest you, they have some really sharp claws. But I'm also told that they're very docile animals, and these guys will rarely ever bite out of aggression. The only time you ever might get a little nip from them is when they think that you're food. But I tell you what a cool animal, huh? So we're 2/3 the way through the VitaBug experiment. To recap, what we did was about 60 days ago, we set up 3 groups of animals, 12 baby bearded dragons, the same age, the same lineage in each group. The first group we fed dusted crickets. The second group just VitaBugs with no supplements whatsoever, and the third group gut loads. We wanted to see if the VitaBugs would stack up to the other groups. To our amazement, we've seen some pretty awesome results. This is an animal from the VitaBug group, and they've really outperformed the other groups pretty dramatically, not only in size but also in color, which has been pretty cool. So this is the exciting part. The last 30 days of this experiment, we're going to be giving away a bunch of really cool stuff. Each day, we're going to give away 1,000 VitaBugs along with another prize. All you have to do is go to the BHB Reptiles Facebook page and share the post that we make every day at noon Eastern Central Time. At the end of the 30 days, the person that shared the most to the people in their friends and family group is going to win a prize that's $1,500 plus. It's pretty cool. If you want to follow along or get involved in this cool giveaway, all you have to do is go over to the BHB Reptiles Facebook page and go ahead and have a great time. I wish you guys all the luck. And I tell you what, VitaBugs are pretty cool. Talk about a gorgeous lizard. These guys are Baja blue rock lizards. They come from the Baja of Mexico and California and are obviously desert dwellers. You're going to want to keep these guys in the upper 90s with a 135 plus degree hot spot. Half of their diet is going to be insects, the other half vegetation. What's interesting about these guys is the fact that the males and females look exactly alike, so there's no sexual dimorphism, but even as babies you can easily sex them, because right down at the base of the tail, right below the vent, there's 4 big scales that a male will have and the female's abstinent. I tell you what, these are incredible looking lizards. Now you want to see an impressive toad, check this guy out here. This is a Sumatran toad. What's amazing about it is this guy is 2 pounds and pretty impressive, right? But believe it or not, they average about 6 pounds and the record is 8.5 pounds. Could you imagine a toad that's 4 times this size? It's the biggest toad in the world. I need one of these guys for all of the stuff that I don't feed at my shop. Can you imagine a garbage disposal that will eat anything at all? I tell you what, I've got to get one of these guys. All right, you guys want to see an impressive retic? Kevin over at Nerd just keeps on pumping them out. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. This is an orange ghost stripe, phantom stripe golden child. And what's interesting is as they're born, they're pretty much predominantly white with maybe a couple freckles. And as they get older, all of this cool patterning comes in. I tell you, can you imagine this thing when it's 18 foot long and this big around? It's going to be just an insanely cool animal. I've highlighted these guys in the show before, but every time I come across them, I have to show you guys. They're caiman lizards. They come from South America, and in the wild, they're typically snail eaters. They have a really powerful jaw, so they can crush the shell and eat the inner meat. But fortunately, in captivity, the majority of them switch over to cat food or soft dog food. They're just such prehistoric looking animals. There are some impressive animals in this building, but when you walk by and see a bearded dragon that's 2 foot long, you gotta stop and actually check it out. Look at this monster. This is like just a complete freak of nature. And the thing that's amazing is this isn't a German giant or anything. It's just a regular, beautiful bearded dragon that's just a freakishly large one. I can honestly say I've never seen any bearded dragon this size. The thing I love about these shows is that there's a lot of variety here. Sure, there's a lot of ball pythons, but I want to show you guys stuff that you're not going to see every day, and this certainly would be a couple animals in that ilk. This is actually a calico Chinese beauty snake, Elape teniera teniera, and the calico gene is a recessive mutation. It just makes them look completely cool. Now the Chinese beauties will get about 5 foot and relatively heavy body, which makes them a really cool snake. This is another Chinese beauty snake. They're called hypo-Chinese beauties, but they're actually a T-positive albino, which just means that they have a tyrosinase in them, which is a type of melanin that gives them that kind of a purple hue. They're really a beautiful snake. I hope you guys have enjoyed so many of the amazing animals in this show as much as I've enjoyed playing with them. What was the most number of shows that BHB has ever done in one calendar year? If you said C, 42, you're 100% correct. Good job. If you want to save your reptiles, get serious, get ZooMed. To check out all their product line, visit zoomed.com.
Hey guys, we spent the weekend in Tinley Park, which is pretty close to Chicago, and you guys know Chicago's pretty famous for their pizza. Being a vegetarian, I really like mushrooms and black olives on mine, but I want to know, what do you like on your pizza? Leave a comment below.
So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. There certainly was some amazing animals in there, and it was so cool to share it with you guys. And as always, I was tweeting and Facebooking my way through the adventure. If you want to follow me, just hit me up over on Facebook and Twitter at SnakeBytesTV. Till next week, you've been watching Snake Bites. Well, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm getting a little bit aroused. I don't know why.